Gotta say, really appreciate the likes on the previous video. Like, I didn't expect that coming out of it. But anyways, I think so I'm gonna get a lot of dislikes on this video because I'm about to do some exploding here before I get into the review, that is. Now, in the last week, in this whole full week, uh, Jesus, the controversy that was created with Goblin Slayer was just crazy. Like, now here's the thing, okay? I understand that there was a mistake done by Crunchyroll. I will understand that this was a series not definitely not meant for people below the age, below a certain age, but um, people saying that it's too violent and you shouldn't watch it and everything, like that's something I did not expect coming out of this series, to be honest. Because I mean, I understand the whole scene that happened with this whole series, okay, the last week, what's been happening and everything. I understand that, and I understand why they would say that, considering how, like, they have shown some graphic stuff. I will not deny that. But here's the thing: there have been worse cases than Goblin Slayers. Like, worst cases, and cases where things weren't even explained. It's like that kind of case, and you're in this like, you're just like hating the series. You're just going and telling, like basically just going after the series and saying that, oh, this is a bad series because it's very violent and graphic. Nah. Nah. Like, there have been worse cases, and there have been cases where oh, you really like have this one series and it's basically graphical and violent, and things don't make sense. But considering episode 2 and everything, a lot of things have started to make sense, and why he does that. Goblin Slayer is actually explaining things to you, so I don't understand why you would say that, to be honest. Like, from story perspective, I don't see that. Even though it's violent and graphic, I'll say it's violent and graphic, I'll not deny that. But there have been worse cases. For example, Elfen Light, or Elfen Light, however you want to say it. Have you seen that series? Dude, that was the worst thing that you could say. Now, I wouldn't say that's the most graphical thing, but you could see that series and compare it to Goblin Slayer, and that series still stands out to be very violent, very graphical than what Goblin Slayer is. At least Goblin Slayer has held back somewhat of its graphics and violence, but Alpha and Lie just went in with its shit. Like, damn, son. Like, that was that in that age, they didn't give a shit about it. If you want to talk about violence and you want to go into the old ages, there's Akira, the movie. That shit was way out of proportions and showed way disgusting and gross things than expected. Berserk, like, just read the manga or watch the movies and stuff. Like, I want to say watch the 2016 anime because that's a bad one. But yeah, Berserk is the worst case scenario for you. Like, that shit has a lot of bad things. Like, and I think so, compared to some of the series, some of the old series that like I've seen, and some of the new ones, even the new ones, some of them I've seen. I don't think so. Goblin Slayer, people saying that this is much violent and graphic, considering there have been worse series than Goblin Slayer previously. I don't understand, like, what's the controversy with this? Like, it's simple. There have been worse series than Goblin Slayers, and that's simple. Like, they have shown more graphical stuff than like, look at Goblin Slayer. The worst case scenario that a Goblin Slayer shows you is that like, at worst it's the molesting scenes, and that's basically because this is the main point of the goblin. Like, the goblin's main attraction is women in this series. Like, they go after women, they hunt women. That's basically what that is, and they kill the others. They look down upon others. They kill down the village. That's basically how the series is, and that's how it is set up. Now, I understand there would be some problems about not explaining stuff since the start, and like, oh, the series is gonna be like this. I could understand that being a problem. I can understand that because episode 1 took it like straight into the violence zone, like straight in. I understand that, but it still is, compared to some of the series that I've seen. And I really like one of the comments left in my previous video. this guy left a comment very interesting because you all cringe it out at like you all guys who are feeling like bad watching Goblin Slayer, you guys should watch some of the old animes that he recommended in that list. Like that shit. Yes, I would recommend that comment. Like if you feel bad bad watching Goblin Slayer, I would say that you haven't seen anything, my dude. Like you haven't seen shit for anime if you think Goblin Slayer is the worst case scenario. Like no. Now that I've done done with all this shit, let's get into the episode. I know I wasted a lot of time talking about what like this whole controversy is, and I really didn't think that this series would create such a such a big controversy, and how people would start hating this series because of how violent it is, and I like complaining about these all gore and violence scene. Like no, he's a Doom guy. Like my friend calls him a Doom guy. Like my dude, he literally calls him a medieval Doom guy. Like the Goblin Slayer, he literally calls him a medieval Doom guy the moment he saw him, and I'm like, wow, like I have to agree with him. Like that's a medieval Doom guy. That's true. And a lot of people compare it to Berserk, and I can see why, because there hasn't been anime like Berserk in a long while, so I can see why. But again, like I don't know. I don't want to talk much about this. I said my opinion and what I state, and I will defend Goblin Slayer because it doesn't deserve what it's getting. Like I don't think so. At least what people are complaining about. It's just like they've been a wuss about this, and that's all I feel like. That's just simply my opinion, like my take on this, like my view on what's happening with Goblin Slayer, the anime, and the anime community, like going up with Goblin Slayer stuff. So that's just my take on it, and I know I know a lot of people will come at me for that, and I really don't care. That's just how I look at things. Like because I have seen a lot of anime. Like you think so? You think so? I'm not an anime expert, bruh. I'm a full anime otaku. Don't you dare give me that. Oh, you haven't seen enough anime, because my dude, I've been watching anime since childhood. So it's something I enjoy. It's something I always look forward to, and that's just how it is. It's like I know my shit. That's the reason why I say Goblin Slayer isn't even close to. If you're getting like dark-sided by Goblin Slayer, and you feel like Goblin Slayer's dark moments are like worse for you, you're such a wuss. Like for real, you're a wuss to say that, because if that's the case, you haven't seen enough anime, my dude. You really haven't seen enough anime to say that. Like really, I'm not even joking. Like that's simple. That's that. Like that's it. 8 minutes in. Thank you very much for listening. If you guys are still stick on, now let's get into the review. I know I spoke too much now. Let's get into the review. Let's get it now. This episode, the second episode of Goblin Slayer, shows us a lot of character. This is basically showing us the life of Goblin Slayer, like how his life basically is, and how he's abroad, his origin and stuff. And I really like this, because even though they didn't show it in the first episode, and which I personally think so, that this is the best episode to show it, because first episode, if they would have shown, oh, this man has lost his family, he saw his sister get molested by goblins in his early age, no, it would have been kind of, yeah, it would have been a setting for a backstory and stuff, but it wouldn't have been that kind of badassery of entry like he had in the first episode, like how he entered and stuff. I don't think so. The impact would have been the same to see the Goblin Slayer come for the first time, like it would have been like it was in the first episode for me. Like I wouldn't expected that. So yeah, we see how he has a childhood friend and stuff. Like he was a kid. He was like a normal kid. He had his childhood friend. He had his stuff going on. He had everyone around him, his village and stuff. Like he was a very normal kid. But everything went down for him. Like his village went down. Goblins hunt down that village, burned that village, and this guy had to see that. And that's basically how he became the Goblin Slayer. And it's kind of like I'm gonna be honest here, even though it's like a generic, it seems like a very generic story to me, and it is a very generic story. Like, let's be honest here, it is like motivation is revenge. We have seen this in a lot of anime, and it's just normal to like a revenge motivation is a very normal thing in a lot of anime. But the thing about how it's executed, I think so is perfect, and we see how this childhood friend's uncle is basically saying that, oh, he's becoming a madman day by day, and that's true. And he was explaining himself, like as he's telling his story, like he himself is starting to feel good killing these goblins and stuff. Like he's becoming a madman day by day by killing these goblins, and which one of the things I really like about Goblin Slayer is his personality. I'm being very honest here. Like he is like the Doom guy. Let's be honest. He doesn't speak much. He just does his own shit. Like he doesn't give a shit about what others think. Like he just goes on and goes like da 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 da. That's basically how he's just like there. Like nah, like literally. Like gotta give it to my friend for saying that this guy seems like Doom guy because like just. Like it's a medieval Doom guy just going around and doing shit like that. Da 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 da. Like nah. Like the only thing that's remaining is to give him some space rockets and shit and like just go in there da da da. Like or give him a chainsaw like 2016 Doom and just go in and like. That would be crazy if he gets a chainsaw. Like that's pretty good. But another thing I really liked about this episode was how the Goblin Slayer was actually giving advice to the priestess. Like it's really good to see that how he was like, oh, when do goblins leave and when do goblins awake, and then he also speaks about how to make how what's distracting the goblin, how to kill them and stuff. Like that is a pretty cool thing to see because he's actually a character who's given advice, and he also speaks about something that catches my eyes, and that's that it's really hard to act like a silver rank, and it is true. We all know he's not a silver rank. I mean, come on, he's super OP, isn't he? He's super OP. He's always been super OP. And yeah, that's just how it is. And it's another cool factor I really liked about him is how he was checking on his childhood friends area and everything, like how he's just checking the fences and stuff. It's like checking for goblin footprints and stuff, and it's pretty cool that he's actually taking care of his childhood friend while he's hunting a goblin. And obviously he's hunting goblins, but at the same time he's like he is looking forward for other people, which kind of says that yes, he does enjoy hunting goblin. He does enjoy being this madman, but at the same time, he does care for people. He basically is more attached to people. Like he does his thing, but he's still attached to people, which kind of shows that. But I might be completely wrong, and he's just doing this because it's his living place. That's all I can guess. I also like his instinct because he pretty much guessed it correctly. Like he most probably guessed it. That was at least I'm guessing it at least. But he most probably guessed that these three adventurers who are porcelain rank, they basically made it will make it out of there alive, where they went to hunt goblin, while while the priestess are like, let's save them, but he was like, no, I don't care. But I think so. It is more or less his experience that helped him say that, oh, they'll be all right. Like that's pretty much what he had inside him. Like, okay, they'll be all right, and I think so. That's I don't need to help them, and that's what we see. Like this guy was all right, and one of the things that I really like about this episode, really that was top notch for me. Again, said this. I don't know how many times I've said this in my review videos, but I've said this a few times in some of my review videos that words hit harder than action in this series, and that's what happens here. Like when the Goblin Slayer is explaining his backstory, his life, and everything, he's actually like his words are hitting harder. Like he's explaining his stuff, but it's kind of putting kind of an impact on it. So it's kind of cool to see that at this point. So it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool because a lot of time anime tends to take actions rather than believe in words, and you're definitely words are working well than action, I would say, because you don't need to show everybody getting molested. You don't need to show everybody getting killed. Just simple words can get like a good, like give you a good background origin, like a background story for a character, a main character, or a side character. That's pretty cool. In my opinion, at least, that is pretty cool to do, because if you know, they didn't show any kind of graphic scene while they were showing the Goblin Slayer's past. I mean, yes, they showed the shadows and stuff, but that was just the shadows. It wasn't anything graphical, and you only see this child crying. Like, that's the only thing you see throughout the whole backstory that was explained in the Goblin Slayer. Yes, you may see people getting hit and the stuff, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, you just see this child crying, and you know that this child is in pain because of the stuff that the Goblin Slayer is explaining. So I feel like that's a pretty cool thing to do, in my opinion at least. I don't know about you guys, if you guys like the action more or do you like the wordplay more. But I think so the wordplay really works well with how they explain the backstory and stuff. Now, last thing that I wanted to talk about is the ending. Yes, that was an elf. That was definitely an elf. But is that a trap or not? Let me know down in the comment section down below. What do you think? Is that a trap, or is that a normal thing? Is that a normal woman? A normal thing? Yeah, that's a normal thing, you know? A trap is a normal thing. But yeah, let me know if that's a trap or a woman, because I have no idea if that's a trap or a woman. I also like some of the things that you guys said in the previous video that I posted, the previous review I posted, and that was that this is kind of a D&D. One of the comments was this was kind of a D&D. And if anybody doesn't know D&D, tabletop type of RPG, it's basically Dungeon and Dragon. That's basically what it is, and that's what I agree. I kind of agree because I played that old game. It is an old ass game, like way old game. Like that came out a long time ago. What was that? When did that came out? Like what? Like late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. That's a long time, like long time that game came out. Like I don't remember. Maybe even late 2000. I don't even remember. That shit came out a long time ago. Oh, I was a kid when I was playing that shit. Like, like I was a kid. Like I was very small when I was playing that shit. I would say that. But yeah. That's pretty much it. Is there anything else I want to cover up? I don't think so. There's anything else I want to cover up. But yeah, pretty much I've covered up pretty much everything that I want to speak. And I kind of let my pressure out because I've been stressing out on what I've been seeing with a Goblin Slayer, and I was like, no, like I was really like, no, please, like you're saying like the shit that makes you like I don't know what to say. Just ah. That's just how I wanted to say my heart out in this video. That's all I can say. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode of Goblin Slayer. Let me know what you think about the whole Goblin Slayer backstory and everything. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace.